I will call to order the April 26, 2023 meeting of the South Elementary School Building Committee. This is a virtual meeting. It is recorded and broadcast on SMAC. Prior to starting, I will call a roll of people if I can, just so we know who's here. All right. When I say your name, if you could respond aye, so we can log you as present. Joseph Buckley.
Aye.
Fran Brutiniti. Stephen Cavey. Diane Dolan.
Here.
I know I saw her. Jake Dorr.
Aye.
This is an old list. I apologize. Katie Monahan.
Aye.
Dr. Rab.
Aye.
TJ Recupero. Aye. Melissa Souza.
Melissa Lynch, aye.
Yeah, I apologize. That's how it's listed on the. Sorry about that. Melissa Lynch. Eileen Sprague.
Here.
Mark Tisdale. So Tom Coulter. Who am I missing? Again, this is an old
Me.
list. Joyce Husseini.
Here.
And I know I'm missing someone still. Oh, Catherine. Is Catherine here?
Catherine Weiss couldn't make it this evening. She's in another meeting.
Okay. Catherine Weiss and
Christine.
oh,
Same.
Chris-
She's out today.
okay. Apologies. I do have to update this contact list then because this is probably about 6 months old and we've had several drop-offs, but I did count a quorum before we started here, so a quorum being present. If I could start on agenda item 1, I did keep public participation just as a matter of practice, but we only have one item of business and this is a special meeting. So if there's no objection, I will table that until next meeting. Hearing none, I'll go to item 2, preferred schematic report. Tom, you want to start this off or do you want me to? So let me just say, this is more of a scheduling discussion than anything else. We're discussing whether or not, right now we have a June 26th deadline, self-appointed deadline, if I'm correct in saying that, to submit our preferred schematic report to the MSBA. And we've had discussions at last meeting and also in the working group about pushing that back till August to give us a little more flexibility on time, give the school committee a little bit more flexibility on deciding the policy questions. And we'd be looking to meet a October, I think it's 25th MSBA meeting. So we'd submit in August. Did I say everything correctly, Dom? You're on mute.
Sorry about that. Just as a closeout, that was correct. But that also, this does not change the entire timeline. We still follow the schedule. We're just giving ourselves an additional 6 weeks to bring the new members of the school committee up to date. And also, there will be a new superintendent as in July, so that will be helpful too for that person.
Great. So we discussed this pretty well last meeting, but we didn't make any decisions. We wanted to wait until the school committee weighed in and then come back and make a firm decision. We did meet with the school committee last night, or we gave a presentation to the school committee, and be honest, they were a little more prepared to vote quicker than I ever expected. That said, we are going to move forward on, I think, a more aggressive schedule. Jake, you want to correct me if I get this wrong, because actually you probably remember this more precisely than I do, because
Well,
Can we
Go ahead.
talk about that, TJ?
Yeah, please, Tom.
I was at the meeting and I don't think, I appreciate the fact that the school committee wanted to make the decision and stay on schedule. And we heard a kind of a mixed bag, I think, from the members. But the two, if I can be frank, the two, the one member who was new wanted to keep on schedule, which I appreciate. But I think you made the point that they don't really understand. We haven't discussed the financial component to this. We haven't discussed the redistricting in any kind of public way yet. And I don't think, to be perfectly honest, they fully understand what would be involved in keeping to that June deadline, because we can't do the community outreach that we want to do and still make that June deadline. And there is opportunity over the summer in July with the summer programming and the nights of summer to capture parents there. And I don't think personally the committee would be terribly upset if this committee decided, hey, we really do need the 6 weeks.
Right, so,
I think in some ways we're a little more informed than they are, if I can be brutally honest.
no, I think I mixed up terms. So, or I mixed up benchmarks, I should say. So what we're discussing right now is the submission date. What necessarily tied into that is, of course, the policy decision that the school committee has to make on consolidation and redistricting. That we're going to advance a little quicker than we're not going to take the whole summer to do something that I think we'll have enough information to do that on a more aggressive schedule. And this is where I wanted to be corrected if I'm misstating. But the filing date, I think that we weren't asking the school committee we weren't proposing to the school committee that we would push that up till June. We were sticking with the sort of a more measured approach to that, but it was the consolidation and redistricting component that I'm mixing up terms. What we're deciding is when we file the preferred schematic report. And that was originally for June, pushing
28.
back to August and filed and for a meeting in October. But we're going to be a little more aggressive on the consolidation component with the school committee.
But what
Katie,
is
you
that?
wanted to speak, so.
So I'm confused. I apologize. So
Nope, not at all.
I thought we were going to ask the school committee, originally they were going to have to vote on the consolidation on June 13th so that we could submit on June 28th for an August MSBA meeting, right? If I'm wrong,
Right.
please jump in.
Right, no, that,
When I think what we're discussing is, does it make sense to submit in August for the October MSBA meeting? That buys the school committee another month or so to make their decision.
yeah, that's the vote we're taking.
Okay, that they can vote on August, beginning of August. It's not, they're not gonna have the whole summer. They vote sometime in the beginning
Right.
of August.
Right, I apologize because I mixed up things. We,
Okay.
for our part, are going to push the redistricting component a little quicker than dragging it out over the summer and.
Okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, TJ, that's what I was going to just clarify. You just clarified it for yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that they decided that we decided as a group that we wanted to give them more definitive options so that we could push that out to the public so that they could get potential feedback before they made their decision in August.
Now I get it. Okay,
Yeah.
I apologize.
But
No,
I
I think I'm the one who mixed things up I confused things, I think. Jake, go ahead.
The only thing, and if anyone else was there last night, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong here, was I didn't really get a true consensus of whether or not the school committee was prepared to meet during the summer, though.
Yeah,
That was the only thing
Right.
that I walked away from, and I didn't know if they actually committed to that.
right, I think most of them didn't want to meet over the summer. So, I don't know.
Melissa, you had something?
That was going to be my question, what their commitment of time would be in August in order to meet our deadline and what that looked like. Like, was it like what date in August? So I guess maybe it's open, it's not clear, so I'm not really sure.
So go ahead, Tom.
It's hard to know because I agree, but I think I just, yeah, I understand the hesitation, but I think they would find a date in July or August if they had to. It would just be difficult. But without Catherine here, it's difficult to say.
I mean, Dr. Rabb, do you think that if we made a proposal as the building committee to push the date, like that they would then find, like, is that what you're saying? Like, if we made that recommendation, they would then find the time?
I think so.
Okay.
But I'm committing to something I'm not going to be here for, so I have to be careful.
Joe, did you have something?
Yeah, what I heard last night was many of the school committee members felt very comfortable with the information that they currently have to make a decision, to make some of these tough decisions. So I'm wondering if it's worthwhile for them to stay on their schedule, if we can get them enough information to bring it to a vote to the school committee when it was originally scheduled. And then we can take the time as a committee to do that public outreach and still delay the PDP submission, but the school committee would have given some direction, made some decisions, and would have something out there for the public to chew on and to chime in on and whatever. And we, you know,
I hear you, Joe. I'm sorry to interrupt.
yeah, go ahead.
I appreciate the enthusiasm. I'm concerned that they don't have all of the information yet because we don't. You know, it's not ready.
True.
Katie, you had and then Melissa after her.
Yeah, I guess when is the next school committee meeting, Tom?
May 23rd.
So that's a pretty packed meeting. And I know that there's a lot of town meeting stuff prior to that, but I am wondering if we were to present, perhaps not a long presentation like we did last night, but if we were to present, this is the map of what the map looks like for potential redistricting. These are some of the some of the numbers that were like some of those things that they were going to be questioned about. That would maybe help them decide if they are comfortable, like Joe had, and I heard the same thing Joe said, like if they're comfortable even with those more additional hard facts, then maybe we honor that. But I think we probably need to provide them with some of those things that we weren't able to provide them with last night. Is that possible?
Sure. Melissa?
Do we have any concerns that if they do make the decision in a more aggressive timeline and then go on hiatus for the summer, that they may not have an opportunity to also address questions in the meantime from when we do more public outreach? So I just feel like there may be a little bit of support needed more than just the decision, but also hearing it in different junctures and providing feedback.
Guys, can I just, no, I don't say you.
So, Tom, I don't know if you had anything to add to that. The only point that I would say to that is, so in the realm of consolidation / redistricting, we're really only looking for, from the school committee at least, one decision now, and that is yes or no on
Right.
consolidation. The rest of it, the fine tuning, who's going where and they need to know approximately now, just because certainly that weighs into the yes or no part of it, but they don't have to make a hard decision yet. They can take their time with that part. And frankly, I hope they do, because
Yeah.
looking at the options, there are some tough questions that they'd have to ask but the yes or no question, I mean, they last night at the meeting, they were fully armed to a couple members, fully armed to make a decision. And I think we actually had to hold back on them a little bit so that we could at least give them more information to make the yes or no. But that's all we need at this point. And that ties
Right.
into the eventual vote that we want to take tonight is the date on the filing of or the submission of the PSR. Joyce, you had something?
Can I
I'll let
interrupt?
Tom go-
I
Tom go ahead, yeah.
apologize. Just for a moment, Joyce, I apologize.
Sure.
TJ, I happen to have Catherine Weiss here and Fabian because they're here from another meeting.
Oh, great.
And unfortunately, my camera's not working, so you're going to hear Catherine's voice through my name. But she and Fabian are both here, and I think they can tell you from their perspective exactly what was happening, what happened
Oh,
last
super.
night, and that'll help this committee move forward. Okay? Okay.
Perfect.
I think the consensus from the school committee was that they felt well enough informed to vote in June. There was concern about having the community aspect of it. And that was the real thing holding any of them back. They were almost willing to vote last night, but they do feel that they have enough information and we can get enough information in that time period. The concern is getting the rest of the community on board, and how do we do that outreach?
Correct. In light of all of the activities that are going to be taking place with the town meeting and graduation and everything like that, and we thought that maybe a better opportunity would be during the summer where people would have a lot more time and flexibility and can, I guess, do a concerted effort in how we reach out to the community, making sure that we tap into all the resources and get their engagement.
Okay, great. That's how I remembered it too, pretty much. I just didn't want to characterize your comments. So I want to get into Joyce, you had something. Sorry.
No, I was just going to add, I wasn't there, but as a school former member, I would be concerned that the community hadn't weighed in if I'd made a decision.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If I could just, as I reflected on the committee meeting last night, and as I reflected on the feedback that I got, I think it is helpful for us to have the public school committee meetings in which we walk through all the details. I appreciated that the committee was on board with the general things, even the general idea, but I think having the public record of the school committee being walked through the financial effect, through all the educational operationals details, I think would be helpful going forward to show the public, like, yes, we really have thought very carefully about this, that we didn't just agree in abstract, that we looked at the details and we agree on the whole process.
Jake, you had something?
Yeah, Catherine, I guess this is a question for you. I guess because I don't think you were here before when I said this to the group. So the only thing that I was unsure about from the meeting was the school committee's commitment to meet during the summer. So I guess from what I'm hearing is that you would be committed to being able to meet during the summer to have some, I guess, like summer sessions. Is that what I just want to make sure, because I guess my concern would be holding off and then like not being able to get those meetings scheduled. I mean, like, I get it. It's summertime. I'm looking at the rest of the group. Like, it's easier to get us together now. It's harder to get us together in the summer. So that's my only concern. So that's it.
I was going to meet with the incoming superintendent on Friday to discuss sort of summer scheduling. Because at this point, I don't know his full availability. I know he will be here mostly in August. I do know that he's, July may be a little bit tricky for him. And I guess, Fabian, you want to weigh in on your availability, what you think about meeting over the summer. We did float the idea of having a virtual meeting, which we don't normally do.
I mean, obviously I can't speak for the other members. However, what I'm thinking is it won't be that many meetings, probably like maybe 1 to 3. So I don't think that should be a concern, knowing that the goal is to get community involvement and get their feedback and make sure that we're providing full transparency, because that was really the message last night. So I think with that being said, I think majority of the school committee members would be inclined to meet over the summer in order to make a decision on this.
Right. we didn't have anyone say, no, I go away
Correct.
completely for the summer. And honestly, the two new members don't know any different. So if we tell them we're meeting during the summer, they might be on board. I don't want to, give the wrong impression to them. Certainly, I did say we don't normally meet during the summer, but
Because we've done it in I think maybe my first year here. There's exceptions to the rule due to, circumstances, and this would be one of them.
Okay.
and I think they wouldn't be long, necessarily 3-hour meetings. We could
Correct.
probably come in and say it's going to be an hour
Correct.
discussing these specific points, and have a nice, discussion. And I think they're on board with getting the information.
Does anyone on the committee have anything else to add? Just to bring us back to a center point here, what we're looking for is an eventual vote of the committee on the submission date for the PSR,
Mhm.
and not necessarily the redistricting, consolidation, and the school committee's
Mhm.
eventual determination or decision on that. That's of course tied into that date, but for our purposes, we're looking at the date for submission of the PSR, which is going to move from June 26th now to August, late August. I don't have a date exactly for that. I don't know if we need one. Do we, Dom?
No, I think, Courtney can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 6 weeks after the 26th, so.
Yeah, it's August 31st, and then it would be an October board meeting that from this
Is it,
year.
so it is, okay, August 31st.
Right. Does anyone have anything to add? And if not, well, does anyone have anything to add? Pause. If not, is there a motion to move the submission date for the preferred schematic report to August 31st? Anyone want to make that motion? Nobody wants to make the motion?
I'll make the motion.
Joe Buckley makes the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
it. Oh, thank you, Joyce. You can do it. Thanks.
Great. So is there any further discussion on that? I want to make sure that there's nothing in the chat that I'm missing. No. Okay, is there any further discussion on that? Any questions about what we're doing? Because, I think I confused things at the start. And I want to make sure that we're all on the same page that, well, great. Melissa?
No, I think I just wanted to say that I'm on board with moving forward. I know we're going to vote in a minute, but I think just in the essence of, as much as I want to keep a lot of momentum behind this, I also want to give people an opportunity to who are newer to stop and have a moment to fully review, especially the financial aspect, and kind of giving the gift of time is probably helpful since it's not going to move out, as long as it's not going to move out the larger timeline any further. So I just wanted to mention that.
I agree. I think that was the driver of the submission date component of this. The other part was entirely driven by the school committee that seems 90% prepared to make a decision, or maybe 80%, somewhere along there, but still we have to arm them with some info. But any further discussion on the motion, if there's anything? Is Catherine still here, Tom, with you?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, Catherine and Fabian are still here.
Mhm.
Great. I just wanted to make sure if we're taking a vote that, hearing none, I will take a roll call vote. I'll take up.
TJ, do you want me to do it?
Yeah, please, Dom. My list is outdated. I don't want to.
Yeah, okay. Dr. Rab,
Aye.
Mr. Dorr,
Aye.
Ms. Monahan,
Aye.
Ms. Dolan,
Aye.
Ms. Lynch,
Aye.
Ms. Husseini,
Aye.
Mr. Recupero,
Aye.
Mr. Buckley,
Aye.
Ms. Weiss,
Aye.
Ms. Sprague,
Aye.
Did I miss
Aye.
anyone?
Eileen,
Sorry.
did you get Eileen? Yeah, you got Eileen.
I got it, yeah.
Aye. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Yeah, you're up twice on my screen here. So does that mean you get 2 votes?
No, one is the recording.
Anybody have anything for new business? I have one item. So Jake did a good, I stole your thunder. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I kind of want to hear you explain it because you loved it so much.
Well, Jake did a Google form for us to evaluate the different building options, and I heard him go through it. I heard him say that it's kind of like a water slide, that once you're in it, there's no coming out. So until you
actually
hit the end.
Actually, TJ, I figured this out with Miss Monahan today. Because I'm requiring an email submission, it looks like it saves it as you're working on it. So
Oh,
when
cool.
you return to it, you can actually return to it. So
I can confirm that that is true. It is a new feature for Google Forms about 4 months ago, as long as you have your email and you're logged in.
yes.
Yeah. So the Google, and then I'm going to pass off to Jake, but he's testing me, so I want to go through with as much as I can. So he created a Google form where we can go through the criteria where we would evaluate these sorts of things, put them on a Google form, and they will be downloadable to Courtney, where then she can compile them in a pretty easy fashion, or at least an easier fashion than us all submitting individual responses and her cutting and pasting those and putting them, or however you do it, Courtney. I don't want to guess because you do it so often. I marvel at the way things come back to us. But so Jake volunteered to, or I would say insisted, that it be in a Google form because that would be easier. And you'll all be getting that soon. Jake, take over from here, please.
Okay. Eileen, I have sharing privilege, right?
Yes, you should.
Okay.
Oh,
If not,
I'll
like
very,
you're able to see the share button, right? Then it should.
Yeah.
I turned it on for everybody because it's just us in this meeting. So
I think I'm good. I will very quickly just show you what you're going to see if you are unfamiliar with Google Forms, but it should make everyone's life easier, especially Courtney. So I'm a little laggy right now, so just give me one second. All right, can you all see
Yeah.
that? Okay, great. All right, so basically what you will see is I took the Excel spreadsheet and broke it down. So what you'll see is there's a page for each option. So for example, like this is base repair. You'll go in, you can do your answers, gonna go through, and then as you click next, it will toggle into the next option. So this is the addition renovation option. Same questions, all the same criteria are there. But then as you go through, then you'll see pinwheel. It has the little image of the pinwheel on the top. All that information as you go through. The only additional feature we talked about adding is, I'll show you. Hold on, there's the T. There's the compact. On the last page, you'll have a kind of voting where you can rank your options. So you do have to go scroll. And this is the only place where you have to distinguish between the larger school option and the smaller school option. So in the actual pages before, it just has it'll have like add reno, and you can just comment on the add reno options. It has pinwheel, it has arc, it has T. This is the one place where you have to distinguish between the two different sizes. Because for the most part, you know, the pinwheel, the arc, the T are just a smaller and larger version, and the compact are just a smaller and larger version of the same model. And then with the add reno, there's slight differences, but it's pretty easy to comment on all of those things, and you'd still be commenting on the same type of project moving forward. And the only other thing that's on here is just an opportunity just for general comments and feedback. Every question is also optional. I didn't make any of them required because there are things that you will see as you go through that you may not feel that you have the information to comment on, such as like timeline or things like that, like impact, or if you don't feel comfortable answering it or you don't have a lot to say about a certain thing, like that's okay. And then what Courtney has access to is an Excel spreadsheet where everything populates, and she has access to all of that. So that should make everyone's life a little easier. So you're not sitting there reformatting little Excel boxes as you try to talk about each of the options. So hopefully that works for everyone.
Awesome. Any questions on that?
I do
Jake,
have one.
Go ahead, sorry.
Sorry. Jake, make sure, because I just sent out one of these forms to a whole bunch of people to make sure that people outside of, because I would assume you're sending it from your school email, correct? There's a setting in there that says that people from outside your school setting can, and if you don't know where it is, you can call me tomorrow and I'll walk you through it.
I think I did it right because Courtney was able to get in today, and she's
Okay, you did that. Yep.
Yes, thank you though. I appreciate that, Diane.
Cool. Any other questions? So Jake, when will you be sending that out?
I mean, I could send it out right out. I think there's one. I can respond to this email chain because everyone who was invited to this event should have access to that, right, TJ? Like, you want everyone's feedback who was on this call.
Well, I'm just, anybody on the committee, I just want to give them an idea when to expect it. And my follow-up was going to be, Courtney, when do you want those back by?
I think it'd be nice to have them in anticipation of the next working group meeting. And that would be, hold on one second. Not next week, but the following week, May 10th.
May 10th.
Yeah, is your calendar on the ceiling?
I have like multiple screens up here. It does look like that, I know. It's not my usual desk.
I noticed the guitars on the wall. It isn't your usual desk.
No, they're not my guitars.
All right, so Jake, whenever you get that out, Courtney, if, excuse me, and to everybody on the committee, if you could get those back to Courtney, but by our meeting, we said May 10th. So get those back by, let's say, May 7th.
That'd be great.
Unless that's like a Sunday. Is that?
And that is a Sunday. So let's go for the 8th.
Yeah, so get those in by May 8th to give her a couple days to compile them. And
May 7th is also Mother's Day. I wouldn't want to
oh,
burden anybody with.
well, how about everybody shoot for May 7th, 6th? And if there's any slackers, maybe one of them. If you get them in, if you get them in by that Tuesday, then shame on you, but Courtney will somehow adapt.
So the only thing quickly, so if I go off of Eileen's list, like I can send it to everyone who was invited to this tonight. Should it come more formally? Because I know there's people on that list who have not attended regularly and might be surprised by that email. Like, do you want something more formal from, I could send you the link and you can send it out as the chair, or do you want me to just send it out that way? It's up to you. I just want to give you options.
Jake, if you send it out, per our discussion at the April 26th meeting, this is the blah, blah, blah.
Perfect. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, and if you could all return it by, say, May 8th, and then if people don't get it in by then, whatever, May 9th isn't going to kill anyone, so.
Yeah, I'll ask for May 8th.
Yeah. Great.
Thank you.
Is there anything else from anyone? Again, I think you saw a comment from was it Eileen or someone else? Thanks for doing that, Jake. That was great.
Very helpful.
Yeah. Anything else from anyone else on the committee? Hearing nothing, is there a motion to adjourn? Thank you,
Motion
Kate.
to adjourn.
Well, that was Joyce. I'll second Joyce's motion to adjourn.
Joyce, there's a motion. It was seconded. Melissa, thank you for that second.
I don't think it was me this time.
No,
was
no,
Diane.
it was me.
All
TJ.
right,
It was Diane.
I'll second it. If you want to put me in, it's fine.
I'm just picking someone out and assuming that they would do it if I said it, so. Great, if we have to take a roll on even a motion to adjourn. Dom, can you run through the list quickly, please?
Yep, go ahead. Dr. Rab? Might be off.
I think he jumped off.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Jake? Jake? Oh, John.
Aye.
Okay. Diane?
Yes.
Joe?
Aye.
Joyce?
Aye.
Melissa?
Hi.
TJ?
Aye.
Eileen?
Aye.
Catherine?
She might be off with the.
You might be off. Okay. Katie?
Aye.
Did I miss anyone?
No, I think you got everyone.
Okay.
Great. Thanks to everyone. Thank you, Courtney and Dom. That's all we have. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Right on.